Yeah, so I think it's funny you were talking about he bought up all the Origins. So Chris was just talking about how he went to a Joe convention. He bought Origins there instead of G.I. Joe's. Joe's big into
the Origins are fun
line.
figures, man.
They are cool.
So much like Joe though, like with my kids, I kind of skipped that and I was like, you're just gonna play with my figures, like my Motu Classics and my Revelations.
I'm already kind of phasing that out, yeah.
Yeah.
I did this thing with my daughter when she was not even born yet. I started buying those toy box lines from Disney because it had like Marvel and
those
Star Wars and Disney princesses and Toy Story, you know, like Pixar, like all kind of mixed into the same toy line, and I like loved that. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy all these. I'll just buy like one a month, and you know, when she's born, she'll have 9 of them, even though she won't be able to play with them, kind of thing. So I just kept going like that for a long time. But so I was sort of doing that with Origins with my son. So he's only 1 and change. So I was kind of like getting him Origins toys before he could even play with them, kind of thing. But like very quickly with Violet, although we still play with those, she's sort of already moved on to like 6-inch figures and like just playing with like whatever I have around. I've already bought her several, like the Star Wars toy I just showed, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, from tonight. Like she's already kind of like moving past like the cartoony smaller figures. So I'm just like, she's already 4, she's moving past it. So with the Origins, I feel like it mixes in well with Revelations, and you know, so it's not the worst, but you can fudge it. But like, I'm already kind of like sort of shifting away from the Origins figures and just getting the Masterverse or Revelations figures.
Mike, I really wanted to ask you, this is totally tangible. What's it like having to pack up all your stuff and go to these toy shows and set up and sell? Like, what's that experience like, man?
It's fun. I set up with a couple other custom artists. So most of the time people are amazed that because one of the big displays on my table is it's a 3-foot square landing platform that basically, you know, completely disassembles so you can play on the top and the inside of it.
Oh, wow.
And whatever
awesome.
new custom ships I build, I put on that one. So it's because, it's the highlight of the table. It's fun. We just, you're talking to guys who collect a myriad of stuff, So what I do, does with everything. I mean, the toy line I collect the most is, which is, people find it odd, is I collect Playmobil.
Oh yeah, no, that's
I've been collecting Playmobil for 20 years now, so I got, just everywhere. But I always collected it because it was an odd thing to collect.
This Cobra supply trucker I made is a Playmobil airport thing, and yeah, it's great. I just did, and I did Dremel out the seats in there. Too, but this fits a 4-inch figure. Yeah, Playmobil, you can fudge Playmobil with 4-inch. Definitely O-rings.
They make a lot of stuff that other toy companies don't make.
Yes, Joe has these cool little
100%.
construction. What are those construction office ones you have?
Oh,
those are great.
Playmobil made. I know, yeah, they're awesome. I have 2 of them, but they were containers. Container, but it was like made like an. So it was like the front side was like a door, and you can take the roof off, and like it was just like a little office inside, and it had like a map and planning. It's fantastic.
Those to me because Empire Toy Works put a couple pictures of them up.
Yeah, they're awesome. I only have 2, but like,
everybody going, hey, if I buy them and send them to you, will you paint them?
Yeah. I should definitely have painted them more than I did. I kind of just added like details, like this is this guy's office, or that kind of thing. But I didn't like paint it up or anything. But
what are you putting on that action figure?
Fairly
So I just took some very cheap acrylic paints here, and let me see if I've got one that's already done. Oh, I'm just doing a blue-gray wash. I don't know if my lighting's showing this as well. I think I have too much glare, but
it's not picking up too well.
Yeah, it's not. So I'll have to adjust my lights here in a second. But hold on. I think it's my phone. But these are guys from Hellet, and Hellet is a barren world that has not desert but gray blue. So I was like, I want to take these same austere, rough, wilderness kind of survival guys and give them a few of these shades in there too. So I'm just adding some gray blue to it and just doing a quick wash. And if I can fix my light here in a second, I'll show you where I've already done
Lore centric grime.
Yeah. So So hold on, my phone. I'm gonna adjust my phone really quickly here so I can actually show this. So otherwise, it's pointless to do this. But
Are
go
you
ahead.
watering down that paint?
Oh yeah. It's very thin. Yeah. So keep talking.
So most of my washes I use are acrylic inks, and I do some of the apple bottom, the crafter paints with heavily mixed with water. But I've been buying these little dropper bottles of acrylic inks. They're
Yeah, those are great. Yeah.
And all of my rusting effects is with the acrylic inks, because when you add them onto it, you can do it really light. It'll stain the paint, and then you can go back in and add progressively more and more, and it doesn't add.
And it's already watered down, but the pigment's there, so it just runs down.
It doesn't.
I use those in my paintings. I haven't used them on my toys, but that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And the rest of it's just different war game paints. This is a wash called sewer water.
Delicious
sewer water.
Yeah, it's a brown green paint from a company I used to work for. So I have a whole paint set of those. I use a lot of I've been slowly getting back into using a lot more of the war game paints for some of my reds and yellows and oranges, just because they look way better. Everything else, if you ever look at any of my
there we go,
my like army green stuff, it's Krylon army green spray paint, and then a little bit of a lighter color dabbed on, and then the rest is all the acrylic inks.
That's the one to pick up. I can't get it to focus, but anyway,
yeah.
I usually use a base or a wash, and like what's funny is Chris actually came on the first time we did a recording with him, and Joe and I did something similar to this where we both just painted and talked to him, and we did a recording probably like 2 or 3 hours. And then I got around after I had gotten caught up to all my editing, and I was like, oh my God. And I got to it. I was like, this is a mess. This is just all over the place. Like between the sequencing and trying to trim it down and edit. And then I was like, well, I can edit that conversation, but then I've got to show the work. So I had to move these images, and that needs to overlap. I was like, this is too much work. I'm not doing this. So I just bailed. I was like, never mind. So, but yeah, he was talking to us about how he does washes as well. And I actually use some of those.
I do enamel.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
Enamel. Yeah.
Yep.
That's an old model builder thing.
Yeah. I used to use enamel a long time ago. It's very unforgiving unless unless you're doing it the right way, thinning it the right way, like Chris does.
Do you airbrush it on, or do you paint it on?
It depends. Both. For big vehicles and so forth, I'll airbrush it on. For smaller things, I'll brush it on.
Chris, I imagine that the enamel adds like a certain level of like hardening and protection for the copper.
It holds more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can see this. So this is the Teenage Mutant.
Yeah, blow his up. Wait, let him blow you up. Let him blow you up. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's great. Look at all the weathering in there, man.
This is the craft store, different grays. And like I say, the streaking, that's all just like light acrylic ink.
Yeah, that's great.
And
that
then,
was awesome.
I put hazard stripes on everything, so. I got the other half.
I do notice that you put hazard stripes on everything. Also, I like the hazard stripes, by the way.
But the weird thing is 90% of them are hand painted. I only use tape on like big terrain pieces.
Right.
It's mostly hand painted.
That's awesome, Mike.
I bought this a couple years ago, and it was like, this was kind of like the first thing 6 or 7 years ago that I started painting. I'm like, I want to do a bunch of custom turtle vehicles, and got about half of it done.
My cousin randomly, I saw him over New Year's, and he was just like, "Hey, I've got a bunch of old toys," and I was like, "Give them to me." But a lot of a lot of it was Turtles and Batman. So I actually get. Hold on, I'll pull it up. So I got a turtle van from him, and some other random turtles and stuff.
A couple of those I seem to have been running into lately is just nothing but Batman tumblers.
Oh yeah. That's a cool vehicle. I almost bought that several times, and I was like, it just looks like a big brick. And then in my mind, I couldn't get away from the fact that it's Batman's Batmobiles. I couldn't disassociate the
Yeah,
design,
I can't just.
you know?
So, that being
Yeah.
said, that one, Mike, one of your photos on Instagram had a tumbler in the image of all the toys that you had out on the table.
One?
But I noticed the tumbler, and I was just like, I really liked how he painted it, because the way you painted it actually did accomplish getting rid of the Batmobile of my brain.
And I'm working on another one that has a giant missile launcher on the back. That's going to be a American like World War II green with winter ice camo all over it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I ended up buying. I think at the last toy show I went to, I bought like 7 tumblers.
So he had this Wayne
Great,
Manor
dude.
from Batman Returns. So but I hate this like weird why they did this like quote unquote weathering on this, but like it's just like spray painted brown like across it in streaks, and it's horrible. And I'm like, I'm gonna take this thing and just rip it apart and make it into levels and actually make Wayne Manor up above the Batcave kind of thing. So that's my plan on that one. You know, kind of just I want to get like my son's already playing with the Batman figure a lot from the new Superpowers line.
Yeah.
So I've got him some of those, and he loves the Batcave. Violet loves the Batcave. They're just playing with
It's
it.
a
nonstop.
fun
Good
playset,
playset.
dude. Yeah, those are fun playsets, man. Yeah.
I've also got this and Indomising these. Like I've had these for ages, but they're these giant stone towers.
Oh, here. The Slike.
Yeah, Schleich.
I actually had they make an entire
Ahsoka.
castle.
What's up?
Oh yeah, so they're awesome and they're huge.
Yeah,
but like
but-
the doors, like this
Yeah.
Ahsoka is from that toy box line. She's 5 inches and she doesn't, you have to put her inside. At any rate, I really want to paint these up like Grayskull, like with green
That would
bricks.
be cool.
Yeah,
Origin
so
figure.
that's kind of what I'm gonna do with that. So I can add that to my son's.
I've seen people do Destro's Castle with that before too, which is it's like
it works
okay, I
good
got
with
it.
the 3 3/4 GI Joes. It's
It
not so
just
good
misses-
with
4 inch. It just
with a
misses the mark.
5 inch or even a 6 inch, of course not. But
Yeah, no.
Hey
but
Dom, how do you like
What?
dirt for
Oh
dirt?
man, I made that short video with your quote. I was like, I'm gonna quote my friend Chris George. Nothing works better than looking like dirt than actual dirt. Yeah, man.
But it does.
I still have that dude. He is. Where is he, man? He is good and dirty. He's somewhere around here.
What really works good with for dirt too is if you ground up some pastel chalk into
Yep.
it.
Mix it with a little mineral spirits, or you use like alcohol.
Yeah, he's still. Computer, turn off backlight. I swear to God, my camera. I can never
No,
get a camera.
that's working good. That
Does it?
looks good.
Okay, yeah. So this is
when your
a
hand was
wash.
behind it, okay,
Yeah.
I see it.
That's not a wash. That's actually just grimed up dirt. And I was like out in the mud filming, and I was like, well, let's try Chris's work here. I just ground him in, and like I love it. I love that I have a modern toy that's mucked up. It's customized. It's kit bash. Like this is from Spy Troops, a different trooper from Spy Troops, and this is from 25th, and this is from that 3-pack Vipers that came out. So this is just an amalgamation of all these different things thrown together, and I was all mucked up out there, and like I've got some cool photos with dirt on his nose, It's like, oh man, yeah, that was so much fun. I love having that in my collection, just dirty and used.
When you do dirt or pastels like that, if you just spray a little hairspray over top of it, they'll help protect it.
Yeah.
Oh, smart. Yeah, because he's definitely shedding in my collection right now. he's sharing.
I mean, you
his
could do like a
camouflage
matte
videos.
sealer, but like spray
Yeah.
or hairspray works just as well. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I also got these kits here, which were kind of fun. What's it called?
Those are Mayas.
Oh, Tamiya weathering.
Yeah. I like these. You guys play with these?
What is it? Talk.
Tamiya weathering kit.
Just
It's
weathering
like,
pigments.
yeah, it's like a makeup kit, but for
Mike
weathering.
clearly has some old Warhammer vibes going on and everything.
Oh yeah.
I
Every
worked,
answer.
worked in a model shop all through high school, so like yeah. When I first started painting, I did 15 millimeter Napoleonics, so
Oh, okay.
I painted thousands of those. You learn all the tricks real quick.
Yeah, I have no fundamentals, and I picked up painting really late, and like actually Joe and I kind of started at the same time with like we bonded over GI Joes, and then as our collections grew, we're like, hey, as we're playing with these, why don't we start adding some customizing to them? So we start adding paints to them, stuff
Well,
like
yeah.
that.
At first, it's like let's take them all apart and give them different heads, so we can have the
Right.
same 7 guys with the same uniform, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then eventually you're just like, well, this guy is cool if he wasn't neon in these places, like kind of thing. Like I can cover up this neon with some little olive drab, and this guy suddenly is usable and way
Yeah.
more cool.
yeah, definitely.
And we did that, so that's when we used to use like enamels a lot, because we found acrylics back then. We didn't know what we were doing, and acrylics were just like chip off immediately. Like we're still playing with them, so like it's just like the second you move the figure, it cracks off a big piece, and you're like, oh, I painted him for so long.
Yep.
So we kind of went with enamel, but like I think we found the
Too
balance
thick.
of like
It was too
acrylic.
thick. Yeah.
it's thick and it's thick. I
Well, we
don't know.
didn't thin them.
There's
We didn't
pros
thin
and
them back
cons.
then either. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think that's why I gravitated more to vehicles, mostly from
Oh, for sure.
doing
Yeah.
war gaming. Is I like big display pieces. Figures, I have a ton of figures,
yeah,
but as far as customizing them, that's one thing I'm like, I have to sit down and really like want to do it. Where like vehicles, I can knock out 2 or 3 in a couple hour sitting.
Mhm.
Huh. So Chris, I know you do all your cardboard. Did you ever do custom vehicles as well? Because you didn't really get into collecting until COVID, right?
Well, I mean, every one of my vehicles is completely custom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's-
No.
there's not-
No. So you did cardboard. I got that. Do you have any actual plastic vehicles that you spent
Oh.
time doing customizing before you jumped to that medium?
No.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
No,
Okay. Yeah.
I used to make cardboard toys, much simpler, for my GI Joes that I played with as a kid.
Yeah.
And then during COVID, I started to revisit it.
Right. Because you're relatively a new collector. I mean, like COVID, just a few years.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
that's interesting.
But every vehicle I've got, I don't know, I've just made a cooler version.
I really.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
version is different. I mean, I've only got the Mobat is the only thing I actually rebuilt. My Hiss is the Hiss is one is a troop carrier, one is like a tow truck.
I love recovery vehicles. I love utility vehicles.
Yeah, you can kind of see that in the shot that you gave us of the
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
There they both are.
yeah.
the troop builder and the tow truck. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah,
And there's
awesome.
a Cottonmouth, that helicopter.
Yeah, how man, come on, how
I know.
cardboard?
I know.
How? Come on,
That's insane, dude.
that's crazy. Chris, I was gonna ask you. Probably should ask you on the show.
You got it now. You got a second chance, though.
What's that, man?
Well, so I know you're working on the train, but is that like your current build, or are you working on something else currently, or is that what's the next
the
thing
same-
in your horizon?
Well, the train. I started about a month ago to build a backdrop because I keep filming all my builds just either on the workbench or my kitchen table. So it's just boring.
Mhm.
So I was started as a backdrop. I thought it would just be, just very simple thing. Well, it is an entire factory
Yeah,
that where my Cobra vehicle or the vehicles would be shown in this factory.
yeah.
And then the train was a second thought that these would be on train tracks.
It
that
just
go
kept
through.
getting out of hand. Yeah.
I mean, this thing is huge. It is huge. I mean, I'm actually looking at it. Let's see. It is huge.
Look at
Oh
that.
man. Yeah.
It is-
that's
it is
incredible,
massive.
dude.
Look at the gantry. What is that? One of those cranes from like one of those 3-foot crane things?
It's.
Did you build that? Get out
Yeah, I
of here.
built the whole thing.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
everything.
Guys, watch
Yeah.
my channel.
I do. No, I just saw this video. I comment on it. Joe's
I know,
a
I'm
busy
kidding.
guy. Yeah.
Look at the HVAC that I built.
Man, that's crazy. Look at that
Yeah,
thing.
made it all out of cardboard. And then the
That's
farmer train.
amazing, Chris.
Something I hear the most is I should work with plastic. No, it's too
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, sheets of styrene, or that's expensive stuff, man.
And cardboard is very, very forgiving. And when it's painted,
it is, yeah. It's
I mean, when
easy
it's
to cut.
painted,
It's easy
it
to glue
looks-
together.
it looks like it looks metal. Let's see. Here's
I think so. That's what blows me away the most is about the
Hold on,
fact
Chris
that
is
you've
showing off more stuff.
absolutely been able to disguise the cardboard and the After Effects. Like that's what's most impressive. It's not just like
Yeah,
look
I mean,
at
look,
that thing, dude. Yeah.
That's fantastic, Chris.
It's weathered, it's chipped, it's got dirt on it,
Yeah.
and that's all made up. That's based on a molar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
I
see
mean,
it.
that's
You can see the
completely out of
base.
cardboard, but I want to do some other options for the molar.
That's great. I love it.
I still wish you had left the Captain Crunch on the Mega Hiss. Though. Like that
The
would have
Mega
just been. Yeah, man. If ever there was a creative input I could have, it would have been just.
Mike, question for you. With the resin casting and like that two-walled building you did with the base.
Yeah.
So how many different casts is that? Is like one wall? Is each wall a section, or is the L-shaped wall a section and you add the
is
floor?
about to die. I'm gonna have to.
Each wall is a separate piece, and then I just glue it.
Okay. Oh, so you're casting it flat.
Yeah, it's
Like-
way cast them flat. I can make them as thick or as thin as I want.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Chris,
I can
Chris
pour
is gonna
half
die.
of.
Chris
if I
is gonna
wanted to,
die.
half.
Oh, Chris,
Chris is
if
about
you
to
die-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
thanks for being on the show, man. Love seeing your stuff.
Hey, that's great, man. Thanks.
We'll watch him die. Like, oh, he's dead. We watched that man die on camera.
At any rate, yeah. Like, so you're building something out of foam, pink foam. You
I
said.
build it out of the 1/4-inch pink board. I carve it up, and then I make a box and I pour.
Yeah, because the details and the creasing in that, like the sidewall,
Yeah.
is like that must be so easy to accomplish out of foam, and then you can
Yeah,
cast
you
it,
can-
and
you
then
can
it's like suddenly you're
and
like,
and then when you cast it, if you don't want all that stuff, you can just put putty on it or do whatever. Build it.
Yeah.
that's
and
really
it's
cool.
Easy to glue together. You can put.
That's all that wargaming
extra
background, man.
Little details. I got all these little power boxes and stuff.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I'm
Barrel.
trying to like build, like. But if I had a casting area, you can just get it once.
I'm lucky. I got almost I got an entire studio.
Yeah, my art studio is consisting of visual art, so like it's not really.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of depth.
That's
I've
my
always worked at,
constant.
I always worked at the practical arts. Like now, I work at a place we build we build giant fiberglass installations for amusement parks or water parks or stuff like that. So, like right now, I'm working on 5 tentacles that are 65 feet long and
Good lord.
30 feet or 30 inches around and fiberglass. They got suckers on them with lights behind them, and so
That's amazing. Dude.
Wow.
So what's your background in then?
I've been a machinist most of my life. I owned a repair company, and all of being in wargaming in the early days, everything was cast in metal. Well, I learned how to cast in metal,
Pewter and lead, yeah.
pewter and lead, and so I started doing that at my house, just like on the stove and stuff with molds I made. About 15 years ago, I got offered a job when Kickstarter was in its way infancy to work at a company in my town that we made figures instead of using steel plastic injection molding. We would spin them in resin and get really get extreme fine detail.
So you said that during the stream where you're like, oh, I did a Kickstarter. I was like, wait, what?
I've produced when I worked for that company, we worked for a company in France called Raging Heroes.
Huh.
They do nothing but 3D printing, but their 2 Kickstarters did, I think, 1.7 and 1.8 million dollars respectively, both of them.
Wow.
And I ended up making the majority of the figures. So between those 2 Kickstarters, I made over 1 million figures.
Dang.
Wow.
What?
I started working for a company called Miniature Market. They're a giant.
Yeah.
Do
They're
you
based
ever
in St.
remember
Louis.
they have a
Yeah.
range called Tiny Train.
No.
They're Dungeons and Dragons little train pieces.
Okay.
I made all that with a friend.
Oh, wow.
So we produced those in
That's
house.
so insane.
That's incredible.
And
Hey, you know those things? Yeah, I made all of that with like.
Yeah, I made all that. That's man.
We
kind of
went
insane.
to Gen Con one year, and my boss was like, let's make a big display. I want 100,000 pieces. So it took us 4 months, but we made them 100,000 pieces. We make them 20 or 25 at a time, every couple.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
I went to
with
Gen
resin-
Con one time,
that was the last time I went.
and you were not there because I would have remembered that.
So with resin, so
well,
I'm
actually,
always
no, I would have been so tired. I usually was sitting in the corner.
I'm so hesitant to like get. So I did resin where like you take the 2-part mold, like
Yep.
the pink and the blue, and you mix it and blah blah. And like I don't have the patience to learn the right balancing between the A and B. Like, no, this is more brittle and this is more flexible, but this is more harder. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just I tried to do that on my own, and honestly, what I ended up doing was I kept the silicone, made molds, and then I took a hot glue gun and injected it in there, and now I've got flexible helmets for my guys. So I'm like, that worked best for me. Like
Most people, I get in contact with them with 1 or 2 parts, so we'll try to make them molds that work. It's I always say it's easier to go to somebody who knows how to do it and been doing it for a while, because I can tell you how to do it as easy as possible. Or
man, I wanted so badly to be able to make my own flexible kit for my guys. Like, that's, you could like all the hard casts and stuff like that, weapons. I'm like, I really want flexible vests and flexible tactical kit. And I know there's a lot of people make it.
Friends who do that. It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
One of the fun things we made is I took a bunch of vintage Star Wars figures and I made molds of them, and we actually cast them in metal.
Oh wow!
Oh, cool.
So I have metal stormtroopers, Death Star troopers. I've got a Darth Vader. I can make as many of them as I want, but I got one and I like polished them up, and then
that's really cool.
Bronze coated them or whatever. So I got like the 77 range. I got in metal.
Yeah, easy to do with a 5 POA.
Yeah,
not so much with a GI Joe.
Yeah, the silicone gets it all. And like I think most of the figures I got are the older, the older vintage stuff. I bought those Dollar Tree Final Faction figures.
Yes, love those. I love those. So those for $1.25 now or whatever. For $1.25, my boys I saw those. I was like, I hated the heroes. I'm like, get out of here, man. I got GI Joes, but like to have an immediate army, and they come with all these little crawlers. They come with and now with the cool things that go on their back, I was like, oh man, so fun. Yeah, those are awesome. If you can see
this one, that's the Karn leader.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I did it like Goro from Mortal Kombat. I gave him 4 stars.
What are those wings from?
Wings that we made for another war game figure.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Worked for a wingback guy.
Dude, you're like a 4 horsemen, dude. That's awesome. Look at that.
I had to put him on a base. I've got a bunch of resin bases from some chariots I made. But yeah, I got to finish him up. He was for a contest that I never entered, so.
Well, you missed a guaranteed first place right there, man. Like that.
Well, now I'm getting ready. We were talking about GI Joes. There's guys doing a custom GI Joe show over Instagram at the end of March.
Oh yeah.
So I entered it. I'm building it now, but everybody's their take on toys. Some guys doing like Little People and Playmobil. I'm going to do the scene from World War Z where all the zombies are going
up the wall.
Oh yes, classic.
Because I've got the G.I. Joe chopper, and I got a bunch of zombie bodies from a customizer that I'm making molds of, so I can cast a couple hundred of them and just squash them all into the and then all the outside ones I'm like, I don't have to cast legs, I'll just use half ones crawling up.
Yeah,
that's
awesome. Fantastic.
Put it on a big base and make it a cool display piece.
Do you win anything for the contest other than just being like an awesome customizer? Do you get
no, it's just a toy.
Yeah, just the honor. That's awesome, dude. Recognition.
It's the honor, Dom. It's
it's
all about the honor.
I get it. I had to ask, right? Like,
what do you get out of it? But what do you get, Mike?
I get off my back. I already know. It's just, what if it was $1 million show? What if you know what I mean? That would have been mind blowing. So anyway,
$1 million, Mike?
I'd like for 1 million zombie toys. I don't know. Like, it'd be cool. I don't know.
All I know is I'm going to be putting I'm probably going to have to cast up somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 of these zombies. So
yeah. That's funny. So the Playmobil, and Dom mentioned it earlier with the shipping container offices that I have. But I really I love Playmobil. I think they work great. But like the vehicles, they're hard 3-inch stop.
Yeah.
You can't put a GI Joe in there. Yeah. So like I stray away from the vehicles, but the buildings you can kind of fudge. So like I really, when it was Playmobil, I really would go in for more like the actual buildings that they made. But yeah, and hence the shipping container kind of.
Oh yeah, their accessories are pretty much where people are going at. I've always collected them just because I love the utilitarian shape of them. It's kind of like
they're
the Funko.
really fun.
They're really fun. You can find some cool blends. The office setting stuff, yeah.
And you go to Goodwill's and they're always broken ones there for like $1.50.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my problem is I can go into, I'll walk into a thrift store or a garage sale or whatever, and you can find shapes and sizes and stuff that works for anything. And since I'm more of a painter than a toy collector, I've got turtle vehicles that I'm painting up now. I've got, tanks from Armored Century or whatever, those big Abrams tanks that I got that are
21st century toys.
I found 2 of their Abrams tanks that I think one for $7 and one for $5.
Oh my gosh,
What?
we used to
Where
pay
did you
$40,
find
$50
those?
for
Yeah.
those
If
things.
you find those in a box, they're $100 or some bucks.
Oh no, easily.
Yeah.
Even out of the box, they're like 80. So where
Yeah.
did you find those for? Where did you find those for that money?
Goodwill, like they're
my
missing.
gosh.
They're missing all like the hatches, but I can make those out
Who
of plastic.
cares?
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, me and Dom have a decent collection of those tanks and vehicles.
So I
and-
gutted down my planes, but I kept all the track.
Yeah, no, I have them all, but I mean, I never got as many as you in the
Planes get
first place.
Big. I've got a stack of them that I've painted. I painted one like the airplane from what's that? It's the movie with the 4 girl Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah.
I painted I did the airplane for Sucker Punch because we did I did like a 3 or 4 foot dragon to go with it.
Oh wow,
Scratch build.
That's awesome.
man! So my favorite of those. So I have I have the tan Abrams tank from when they were just dying at Target, and like that line was fading out. And honestly, because it's so iconic, I think I'm gonna get rid of it, or not get rid of it, but sell it. Because I've seen the markup for those. I'm like, okay, well, I can get some money out of this and buy, another vehicle I want. But the tank that I cannot get, and it's probably my favorite vehicle I own, is the Tiger tank, where the turret actually comes
fantastic.
off.
Oh yeah, those are World War II stuff.
Oh my gosh!
The top shifts off of that. So a lot of those, I mean, they were amazing, but that plastic was brittle, when we bought it, kind of thing, and like. A lot of my like APCs, and they're World War II, and they have like the metal rebar, like going over. Not rebar, but like going around the back of the truck or something. Like all of those are snapped off, and I have broken pieces of those tanks everywhere.
I think they were made more for scale modeler guys. It's just
they were
for sure.
Yeah, because they also had the 132 or 125th line as well.
Yeah, and me and Dom used to buy those for the Joes, and we would. I mean, they would just get beaten to hell. They would just get beat up. But I mean, it's not even just in the play. It's just like you put it in a box gently 100 times, it's gonna break. Kind of thing.
What were you saying, Mike?
Yeah, most of the time those things were like broke. Like I got the German Messerschmitt airplane.
Yes,
and, the P51, and like parts were broken off before I even opened them up.
The P51 is that weird single frame fuselage with the 2 engines on the side, right? That's the P51. That World War or Pacific Bomber. Isn't that what the P51 is?
No, the P51's got it's got the propeller on the front.
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing got the like there's a German the ME 232 that's got like jet engines on the side, and it's got really slanted wings. That one's a really cool one for a Star Wars vehicle too.
I don't see it here, but I've got the one. There was the 1941 Nintendo video game has it where it's got the fuselage which runs down the center, and then the engines are on the side, so it looks like it's got 2 tails in the back of it too.
I got that P52 Bomber.
Oh, I love that thing. It's huge. It comes with this huge torpedo.
Yeah, it's got the two side. Yeah, it looks like a TIE fighter in the back.
It's gorgeous.
The P51 Dom is more. It's like more of the single fighter.
Single seater.
You just Googled that. I heard you clicking away.
Like 7-8 person one.
Joe got me The Avenger, it's massive. The engine block is like this. The wings sweep back. It's got 2-seater in the front, a bubble gun in the back and the bottom.
That thing was gigantic.
It's colossal. It's so big, dude. And I move consistently every few years, so like I'm always so afraid that those, like Joe said, hollow, brittle, thin plastic is just not going to make it. But so far, those
one of my
barrels,
favorite
like,
planes from that era, that movie Sky Captain and
yes,
the, World
the black
Tomorrow.
message.
I have that black plane from that movie, and I'm just like in it, and it's made of way less brittle plastic and slightly less details.
Yeah,
and obviously it's
that's
from a movie,
gorgeous,
but like fit right in with those and fit with our Joes so well that but that one I could just not worry about, you know.
They borrowed the.
I think they did, yeah. It's like straight from that.
Spot on.
It's straight from that mold. Yeah.
No, that's a gorgeous one. That's held up to. You had Jerry flying that one for a while.
Oh, it still does.
Yeah, that's great.
I need to hang that from my ceiling.
There's a guy on Instagram. I think it's Custom World War 118. He does the 3 3/4 World War I stuff with the 21st century stuff, but he gets a lot of stuff, a lot of vehicles now 3D printed from a guy.
Oh, okay. You know what? We should point him in the direction of Marauders. Have you seen Marauders?
Yeah, he gets a lot of stuff from Marauders.
Yeah, that's the place to get
I like
some
that
World War II stuff.
Parts.
Yeah, because you can just buy kit bash whatever you want to put together, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I can't. I've wanted to talk about this vehicle just forever since we brought up out of here, you wet paint toys. But
I'm already excited just seeing it in your foreground.
I know, it's
yeah.
Good. Look at it. It's just gorgeous.
It's the best tank.
And this was so interesting that they did this.
Yeah, where it pops out and you can have all the interior detail.
Yeah, it's got the ammo inside there. You can see where the drivers are, like, and then you can even have in the turret itself.
Yeah, it's like they have the spot where you can load the ammo.
I know.
Come on. Model builders as like their toys.
Yes, yeah. I think you're spot. I never thought about it before, but as soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah, duh. That's exactly.
Because Dragon made a bunch of like the 12-inch figures too. They actually made a bunch of vehicles for like the 12-inch figures too.
Joe,
what was great about the Tiger Dom is that although it's this brittle as all the other ones, the construction of it in general just didn't lend itself to being broken. So like it held up over time, kind of.
That's a dude next to that thing, man. Yeah, it's just a monster too. I always use this as like some sort of mega tank. What I really want to do, I'm not gonna hack into this frame or destroy this at all because it's my favorite one. But this is very iconic, right? Like you don't make tanks the flat size anymore because it's too much of a surface area, and like this is iconic to the flat. But I don't want to hack into the frame. What I think I might do is take like a piece of cardboard. And that's too big.
I was gonna say maybe Chris George cardboard
style.
Hide
hide this with a slope, and then make something that slides over the barrel as like a railgun. So like a hollow piece of tubing, right? That can just go like zoom, and then I don't have to snap this off, and I've got a railgun on the outside. Like that's really I want to lightly modify it, but I can't crack into this thing, even though I won't. You know what I mean? Like I don't want a tiger running around my battlefield. But, yeah, it's so good, man. Love it. I
worked for a company that made basically they made a game that was if World War II went past 1940 whatever. So you had walkers and you had all kinds of stuff with it too. And we built 1/18th scale. We took the 25 millimeter walkers and made them up into
AT-43. Was that it?
What?
Was it AT-43?
No, it was similar to that. It was a company called Dust Tactics.
Oh yeah, yes, I know what that is. Those are really
Parente,
yes, really cool designs.
Yeah,
dude.
We built a bunch of that. We ended up almost buying the IP rights to start producing that in America.
This is deep cut nerdy stuff we're doing right now, and I love it.
Yeah, this is good.
This stuff was really good. The AT-43 stuff made by Rackham was really good. I worked for a company. We bought all of their fantasy metal molds for their fantasy products.
So AT-43, was that the one with the spidery looking aliens in them?
Yes, it was the spidery looking aliens.
Okay. So the World War II game had the gorillas, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, AT-43 had it was all basically that. Yeah, there were gorillas and everything. They just kept putting gorillas in airplanes.
Dom just ran out of the room like a madman to get something. Look at him.
So I kept. Let's get the tank out of the way here. I kept these things because they're so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for GI Joes. Like this is an awesome.
They make, even though they're smaller size, they make really good like drone walkers.
Yeah.
They're really cool, man. The problem is they're even more fragile than the other toys.
They are.
So they have just been obliterated.
Look at those little faces on the front.
Oh yeah, those are horrifying. Yeah.
Those were so expensive to make from the company because they're made like traditional model kits, and then you had to over in China they had people putting those together.
Oh my gosh.
Those aren't come out of the mold like that. They came out on sprues.
Yeah, there's no way that comes out of the mold with all those.
So
details.
and they would have a factory that they would ship all the parts to, and they'd put them together and then paint them.
So that's horrible.
That's why that company went out of business.
Yeah, because those people are making like 35 cents probably a day to do that. So
Yeah.
I love split railguns or split cannons, even though I know it's a stupid design. They always just look so freaking cool.
No, it
Like,
looks
yeah.
awesome. That's why That's why I was a fan of Roadblock from Classified. Everyone poo-pooed that one.
Oh, poo, poo, poo. Yeah,
And
these are.
This is a cool
A lot
gun.
of wargaming stuff you can use for 1/1/8 scale. It's just use your imagination a little bit, make it into something.
Well,
This is a cool railgun right here. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome. Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I should probably just take it out of his hands and put it on a tank
Yeah.
for 3 3/4. But
So
that's a cool railgun.
do you want to see a hidden what you got that I didn't show because we didn't have a lot of
Oh,
time?
hidden what you got?
Yeah, it's a surprise. This is the recording what you got here. So you want to cue the card there, Joe, if you really want to.
Oh sure, yeah. Let's see what do you got over there, Dom? What you got?
Live. Well, this is from Pixis or Pixel Design Studios, and I actually wanted to do it. I think for my toy reviews from now on, I'm going to do third party stuff. If I ever do a recorded video, it'd be for third party, but it's for 1/6 scale, and it's made to mount on basically a wall like this. Like that's how he shows it, like it's at a barrier, and it's got this looks like the Grizzly tank, like straight up. But it's really cool. It's got the butterfly handle triggers in the back, this cool sight aperture, and then just twin barrels. But I got this and then he threw in this one. It had some scuffing or whatever. He's like, yeah, I threw you in a free one. I was like, well, that's amazing. Like, look at that. So this could go in my classified figures, but I'm not using it for that. I'm actually going to use it.
Put it on a tank.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Yes.
Yeah, there are so many people 3D printing awesome stuff. I mean, I'm getting.
Oh man, 3D printing stuff, and man, that's yet another realm of toys that we have not broken into. And I'm like, it's such a no-brainer. It's like same with resin casting. It's like, why aren't I making one door
and then
like in a 3D model and printing it over and over again, and or casting it?
Yeah.
Well, doors.
I mean,
go ahead.
When all these guys are building their giant space stations in their basement, like I said, we've got 1 or 2 guys that'll 3D print the doors and everything. They send them to me. I cast up a bunch, and we just kind of partition it out to everybody.
Do you?
Yeah, I gotta show you this dumb thing that I found recently with
So I have a spaceship instead of a space station because I'm more military minded, so I need to have an expeditionary force to invade people. But the doors I did wood. And I just went I took one board and I went chop, 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 and then I had several doors. But I often wondered, the reason, Joe, we haven't gotten to 3D printing and resin is because of the learning curve and time. And that's honestly what it comes down to. And Mike, I think you had a great point of get somebody.
Yeah, you've been doing this.
Well,
for a
good
while.
thing I now have a guest on our show who knows a thing or two about resin.
Mm-hmm.
So I may be reaching out to you to help with the doors, man.
Oh,
Joe, what did you want to? Or go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Just a find, but let me show you real quick.
Look at me.
So you'll love this. So look at this.
I love it.
Look at this door I found.
Is that off of
opens
baby
up.
wipes?
That's exactly what this is.
Man, Mike.
I'm going
look
to
at
the
that.
dollar store tomorrow to buy baby wipes now. Thanks.
Look at this thing, and we got these from
that's a
Costco.
perfect
So I have 100 of them. And I'm like, oh well, I know where I'm getting my doors for whatever I build next.
Joe just feeds his kids prunes. Just start pooping.
I've got a stack of these saved up, but and it clicks shut. And if this is glued properly, that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
and he can step right through it, and it's like it's the perfect size.
That's
for...
phenomenal. I'm a very imaginative person. I can mix things up in my mind, but I don't have the spatial reasoning to see a thing like that and go, wait, if I turn this vertical, now it's a door. And it's the same thing with greebles. Like, I wish I was better at greeble work, but I can't. I guess maybe with more practice and time, more exposure to it.
It's just learning that, stripping it down to its essential shape.
What gave it away, Mike? The baby blue?
No, I just remembered from when my youngest is 16, so I do remember that, for a while.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, so it's only a specific brand though, because most of them are too small. Because I noticed that way before, and then we got this like random brand, like off brand that we hadn't bought before, and I was like, wait a second, I'm gonna start saving these. But I'm gonna next time we go to like Costco or something, I'm gonna be like, let's get this kind instead of this other.
Yeah.
Kind. I need 20 more of those.
You keep your kid in diapers longer. Just to be able to keep buying the wipes.
I'm sure they sell like the little micro packs at like the dollar store or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Well, no, he's gonna be in diapers for another year. I'm good.
There you go. Stock up, buddy. Stock up.
Yeah, stock up on doors.
After.
That's funny, dude. That's funny that you were able to recognize that, Mike, and you're further away from that age than I am. Like, my kid just got out of diapers like 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Mine are 23, 19, and 16.
Don't say it goes so fast, because I hate it when people say that.
It's funny. One of our guests on here recently was like, "Oh, the older guys invited me to hang out," kind of thing, because he's like in his 30s, and now I'm just like, I feel the same way.
Well, that's weird. Like in my group of friends, I'm the youngest at 46 because playing historical war games. When I started when I was 12, these guys were in their 30s.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So like my normal group of gaming friends are in their 70s.
Dang.
Jeez.
What do you play right now? So wait. Never mind. I didn't ask that at all. So I am making a game, or have.
I know. I've watched all the videos.
Oh really? Oh wow! Thank you so much.
Yeah, because when I started following you, it was because of the game.
Oh nice. Okay, cool. So I beta tested with two of my friends, and it's weird to say friends because I've never actually physically met them in person, but they're my friends. Like I talk to them like every other day, and like they help me alpha test now, beta testing all that stuff. So they're really good dudes. But yeah, so it's a blend from. Have you ever played the game Flames of War or Team Yankee?
Yes.
Yes. I played Team Yankee when I was in Korea. And Joe, that's a what if World War III happened in the 1990s. So take that technology.
Oh, okay.
And go with World War III in Europe. So but what I love about it is it was just like, here are the art. It was relatively simple once I understood, like, call this an armor save. I'm like, oh, thank you. Now it's an armor save. Like, there was some terminology that was throwing me off, but generally I was like, this is very easy. I love all these D6s. I love it. So I love that so much. I was like, I want to make this, but with G.I. Joes. But that was 4 years ago. And since then, I've blended in elements of Infinity. If you've played that game at all,
Yep.
Yeah, so I love Infinity's counterfire, where you shoot at somebody, they get to shoot back at you. I was like,
they get to take an action back.
I was like, that is genius. You keep people involved, because I'm not just sitting here watching you alpha strike all my stuff, and then I'm like, oh, it's my turn. Do I have anything left? I get to shoot back. I was like, that is amazing. So I stole that mechanic, and then I watered down some of Team Yankees because they're a little too many steps, one too many pieces of math for me. So I was like, let me cut that corner out. So I watered that down a little bit. But that's generally what it is. It's like, and then to keep, I'm going to turn this one off here. I loved this one game. Gosh, it's sitting on my board, right? Or it's called, I can't see it. It's a board game made by Plaid Hat Games. But a city's taken over, blah, blah, blah. The mechanic in it is, though, in every round, you only do one action as a player. So I do an action, now it's Joe, now it's Mike. Then it's back to me. And you can only do so many actions, and then the round ends. But because it was one action going around the table, everyone was involved and everyone was doing something, even though it was a complex and detailed game. I was like, that is genius. So I incorporated that too, where you don't use your entire army. You pick one lieutenant and you use just those units. Now it's your turn. Now it's my turn to use my, and then once all of your forces have gone, that ends a round. So it keeps people constantly
Yeah.
engaged, and like so I was like, oh
Yep.
man, so I love those mechanics of it, and that's kind of what I've it's resulted in. So
Yeah,
um,
when I started gaming after historicals, I went to the 40K Warhammer Fantasy mostly.
yeah, oh yeah.
And 40K. I haven't played any. I played either of those since they've switched editions and made it absolutely insane and expensive to do.
It's very
Yeah.
So like right now, I'm getting back into gaming. I'm playing a game called Gaslands, which you basically use Hot Wheels cars.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I've
seen a
heard
lot
of
about
it.
And I painted a guy's army, and he got me a bunch of figs for Crisis Protocol, the Marvel game.
Have you ever
Nice.
watched a channel, Mike, on YouTube? It's called Steady Crafting.
Yes.
It's yeah. So one random video he made a Gaslands car.
Yeah.
And he
Joe,
added like a
you-
Hot Wheels. He added some like weaponry on the front of the Hot Wheels car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We like that. I've got a couple of my other friends who do. They're more into the 3D printing terrain side. Like they did a Jabba's palette. Like when Mandalorian came out, the first Mandalorian series came out. I
Mhm.
couldn't be on my Instagram all day because 3 hours after the show came, they had a physical model of every character in the show.
Jeez.
And so I could never watch it, but they do a lot of they do all the 3D printing of like the weapons and the scenery, and they had what did they have? They like I said, they had every character. You can either get it in 4-inch or Black Series,
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
he does a lot of that. I've got another friend who basically takes Marvel Legends and builds them into giant monstrosities.
I
It's
really like
incredible what you
your
House
end of the toy
great
collecting
art.
spectrum is fascinating to me, Mike.
It's
Because
very
like,
creative.
yeah, you're
Yes.
you're hitting this artistic like
Yes.
itch that I miss in
Yeah,
my own free time.
Yeah, it's mostly for me. It's like I've never, like I say, I'm a painter, so if I can
Me
find
too.
something to paint, I'll paint it. Somebody gave me a whole bunch of these tiny action fleet vehicles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end up repainting all these.
Yeah. Oh, so one of the
I still gotta
vehicles in
finish-
your
Every time I show a picture of it, people talk about this is the Republic shuttle. From,
yes.
So I did it in a winter camo.
I love that. That
And
looks
then
awesome.
I gotta do the
You got to do that.
on the back. All I
Great.
painted is this one wing. The rest of it's sitting in my carport.
Mike,
Yeah.
I get it. You want people to be careful. Okay, you're
Yeah.
like caution. Hey, everybody, slow down, easy now. No
Watch
rush.
out for this wing panel.
Oh yeah,
It might jump out at you.
I used to do like red and white checkers when I did orcs. I used to hand paint those.
Oh, of course.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I learned how to do glyphs, and I learned that if you put a few details in it, you can get away with some sloppy paint.
Huh.
I
That's
love
amazing.
I'm a huge fan of the dumb caution
Oh, yeah.
stripes though. I like so weirdly enough, like all of your paint jobs, I'm like love it, because I'm like a huge fan of that for some reason.
I do it because it annoys my wife sometimes because she's
Well,
like,
okay.
get on
She's
my
like, not everything needs caution.
Ah,
And
good.
they're like, yes, it
A
does.
spite painting. That's always spite paint. Cool.
It's mostly just to see what new materials I can use, and like on some of the Paw Patrol things came with these the trucks came with these hard shells on them
Yes,
for like the
yeah.
cargo. I'm gonna cover them in I got like a really soft burlap that I'm gonna cover
Oh yeah. Just and like
cargo trucks and then
glue it onto it. Yeah.
metal.
Yeah.
It's mostly just seeing what I can do once or twice, and then I move on to the next thing.
What have you done, Dominic?
Because most of my friends in the toy community are like
That
the
was
bootleg art toy people.
So that's something. That's one of the reasons why we reached out to you. So we're gonna wrap up here in a minute because it's 11. I had to get up
Yeah.
at 6:30.
I had 8 hours of orbital sanding foam today. So
Oh my god.
Well, we can
I was
all
saying
relate
before
to
the
that.
stream, I'm achy, and you didn't say a word.
But one of the reasons why I reached out to you, it's been a while back too. It's just it takes us a while. Blah blah blah. Excuses. But anyways, is because of the artistry, right? And like what Joe is saying, like, oh, you're on this creative spectrum. Like, for me, and this is not, I watch toy review videos. Like someone kind of made a comment like, oh, well, you just don't like toy review videos. Like that's not true. I just have 2 channels that I watch and then I'm good. You know what I mean? And a lot of people
I don't need to see 20 people review.
Yeah.
Too bad.
But for the people who do follow us that have their own channels, I will go to theirs first if I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? Like Rabbase, for example, he did I can't remember the Action Force. Like, oh, I haven't seen this yet. So but I watch reviews. I just don't want to do them and I don't want to talk about them. Does that make sense? Like I want that to be there because if it didn't exist, I wouldn't know to buy a toy. But I really love being able to talk to people who have talent and are artistry and like rip things apart or make stuff out of cardboard or like paint caution tape all over stuff. You know, like that's
I was asking if I use cardboard. I'm gonna get into that here in a little while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just make sure you coat it with cereal boxes so you have that protective layer. Chris George, just watch all of Chris George's videos.
I'm gonna sub him tonight and watch them.
He started doing how-tos. He stopped. He did one how-to for the red. I can't remember what he calls it.
The Mobat looking thing.
Yes, he did how-to, or not a how-to, but phases. Like, hey, I'm at this phase now. Hey, I've done this. I'm gonna bend his arm to like do a how-to. Like, just stop. Like do it in front of the camera or whatever. Like that'd be fascinating to be able to do that. So I think people would eat that up. You know
I think the Instagram, getting him on Instagram and showing just step by step, or not step by step, but like along the journey.
Exactly.
Would be great. Anyway, Mike, thanks for being on the show tonight. Thanks for rambling with us after the show.
Yeah, and
all right.
Hopefully you're at Joe Fest and be able to see you actually in person. But
yeah.
All right, dude. Hey, thanks so much. Talk to you later, dude.
See you, Mike.